This tutorial concentrates on external links to other resources.
This simply thinks about any external resource that is not a web page. Okay, there are many. It could be a very simple link to a Word document, a link to an email address, a link to a PDF, a link to a video that's not stored on a web page such as YouTube or so on. So just and you know, a link to an Excel file. So I'm going to just do a number of examples here. The creation using Expression is very straightforward, but what we must keep in mind is that there's a number of different things that we can link to. Okay, it could be text, images, video, anything that you can use in a computer, you can link to it using a hyperlink. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a web page, it's anything that's not a web page. Okay, what we must keep in mind is that some of these, linking to some of these other services will have different protocol, whereas we linked to a web page in the previous example, in the previous tutorial, and the web page, when we were using the protocol for a web page is HTTP or HTTPS. With regards to other services, they have different protocols. So an email is a very, very common link that we would use that's not a web page, and that will use the protocol Mail2. The beauty of that is that Expression helps us out again here with this. We don't have to remember that. It will automatically put in a Mail2 when we're dealing with an email address, and we'll see in a minute when we look at the example. Other ones such as Telnet and FTP, Gopher and Newsgroups will have different protocols, as you can see. Some of them will have no slashes. Some will have 2, some will have 3. One that we should really avoid, completely stay away from it, is linking to a file on our own hard drive. The problem with that would be is if we're going to be using that the file will stay on our hard drive. Therefore, our hard drive has got to be accessible to everybody that's using this website. Okay, so the beauty of this one, guys, and I mentioned this previously on the external pages, is to link to a relative page, which is one which doesn't have HTTP in front of it and is placed in the same folder. So, but avoid the file on the hard drive one. Just to remind ourselves that some of these protocols linking to other services and other pieces of software will require add-ons or plugins or software to be able to be configured on our computer to run it. So with the exception of email, I would avoid a lot of these. Most computers will have email already set up on it. Okay, we'll jump into Expression to see how this whole thing works. Okay. What we're going to do is, in this case here, is we're going to link it to things that are not web pages. Okay, and the most common one is an email address. So I'm just going to type in my email address as before. And as soon as I press a return or a spacebar, it recognizes this as being an email address and will deal with it appropriately. So now when I press preview in Chrome and I go to my links and go to my email address, it will open up the actual program associated with sending email. In my case, it is Outlook, and it will go about sending an email address or an email to me. Okay, so I'm just going to close that down, and I'm going to close this down again, and I'm going to just look at what exactly did we do. We just typed in the email address, but when I hover over it, you can see on the bottom down here, it automatically realizes that because I've typed an @ symbol in the middle of this, that it's actually an email address, and will put in the protocol automatically for me, which is mail2:. You can also see it the same up here. It's very similar to a link to a web page. The only difference being the link to an email address will have mail to : and your email address in it, where the link to a web page will have http : / and the web address. Okay, so like before, if I right click and go hyperlink properties, it will still bring me to the same dialog box, but to a different part of it. Okay, and it realizes that it's an email address. The text to display will be an email address. The email address will be this one here. I can put in a subject if I want. So if I wanted to put in mail from my website, it means that all of the emails will come with that subject on it, which means that I'll be able to identify this as coming from my website. And also, guys, you can also see that down below this we have recently used email addresses. Okay, so you can click on those and they will be we'll place them in here as well, save me having to retype them every time. Okay, so that's how this works. I'm just going to click on OK. I'm going to come down below this and I'm just going to do the same as I did before. Instead of having to type in your email address every single time, you can say contact me by email. Okay, and in this case I'm going to highlight the word email. I'm going to right click it. I'm going to go hyperlink, and like before I can go email address, and I'm going to put in my email address. I'm just going to type in my email address up here where it says email address. Watch what happens as soon as I start typing in Patrick. Okay, it will automatically put in the mail too, because it knows that that's the protocol for an email address. Okay, so I'm after typing in my email address. To make life easy on myself, I just could have clicked here or here, and it will put in either my DIT email address or my TU Dublin email address, but either way it works. Okay, so if I click OK and I just go save and then preview and go email, you'll notice that with this one it will do exactly the same as the one above. It will open up Outlook and go about sending an email to me. Okay, and if I click on the previous one, it does the exact same, except if you remember, I actually put in a little subject on the previous one. Okay, so exactly the same otherwise. Now that's just linking to another type of link, which is not a web page. We'll jump to other ones here. Now I'm just going to type in other examples. A Word document. Okay, PowerPoint, PDF, a video, Excel file. So I can link to any one of these. Anything that I can run on my computer, I can pretty much link to it through a hyperlink. Okay, so if I just go Word, now remember I've already set up and I made sure that I have a Word document, a PowerPoint file, a PDF, a video, and an Excel file, all of them sitting in the same folder as this web page, which is called Tutorial 4. Okay, so I'm going to link to this by going to Word, and I'm going to go hyperlink, and I'm going to go existing file or web page. Okay, so as you can see, I've only one web page open up here. It's called Tutorial 4, and that's shown here. But you can also see that I've also got quite a few files in that folder. Okay, so I'm going to link to, as you can see, Word. So it's a Word document, newsletter.doc. Okay, I'm just going to go OK. I'm going to quickly click on preview in Chrome, and just see when I click on Word, in this case it will download it and I can open it, and you can see that it allows me access to a newsletter that I created. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the next example here. PowerPoint, highlight this, hyperlink. As long as it's in the same folder, it's very, very simple to connect to it. I'm going to link to the next tutorial, which I'm going to deal with directly after this one, which is Tutorial 5, link structure, and I go OK. And again, if I preview it, links, and then PowerPoint, it again downloads this and allows me to open it. And here I have access to link structure. PDF, same thing. This is very simple stuff. As long as everything's in the one folder, it becomes very, very straightforward. TSIS Handbook. So I'm going to click on that PDF. Okay, save it, preview it, and link to it. Okay, and it opens up the TSIS Handbook. Video. Now, I would always encourage people to put their videos up onto YouTube for many, many reasons, which we talked about in the last module, which was Digital 4. But I'm just going to show you how you link to a file which is not on YouTube. Just link to a file which is in the same directory as my web page. So again, hyperlink, because it's in the same folder here in the same directory, I can scroll down to it, through it here, find my video. It's called Tutorial 3 External Links or Introduction. They're all ones that I've created, they're all tutorials. So I'm just going to click on OK, and I preview this and click on the video. Welcome to the first of our online tutorials, which will help guide us through the rest of them. That's fairly frightening, and we'll move on to the last one, which is Excel. But as I said, I can link to any file. It could be an image, it could be anything at all. It could even be, you know, an executable file, a program, anything at all, a music file, MP3, anything at all that you can run on your computer. You can link to it through this process. Okay, so I'm just going to go Excel, hyperlink. I'm going to scroll down here, tabular data, example, and I'm going to go OK. Now, obviously, all of these would need programs to be able to run them on your computer. So in other words, if you didn't have Adobe Acrobat, you couldn't read PDF maybe, and if you didn't have a video player, you couldn't look at a video, etc. So last one here, Excel, and we click on this and it will open up the Excel file. Okay, and you can see here that the Excel file is there and works away, and no problem at all.